Hello, chismosas y chismosos, and welcome back to Bay Area Housewife of True Crime, where I like to tell the stories of the real cucuys and lloronas of the world. I'm Audrey, a paralegal turned stay-at-home mom who loves true crime. The cases I cover are wild, topics may be triggering, viewer and listener discretion is very strongly advised. The people mentioned are innocent until proven guilty in court. With all that being said, grab your hot Cheetos and let's get started on today's case. There's Something Wrong with Aunt Diane is probably one of the best true crime documentaries I've ever watched. I've talked about this case before, and I always joke about how I am an elder geriatric millennial learning how to use TikTok, and here we are doing the damn thing. So I decided to redo this case with my new tech knowledge in adding pictures for visual reference. On July 26 of 2009, 39-year-old Diane Schuller was driving a red 2003 Ford minivan with her 2-year-old daughter Erin, 5-year-old son Brian, and her brother's 3 daughters. 5-year-old Katie, 7-year-old Allison, and 8-year-old Emma. At around 1:30 p.m., Diane started driving into the wrong direction of traffic on the Taconic Highway in Mount Pleasant, New York. Diane's toxicology report came back positive with high levels of alcohol and marijuana. Diane was a high-functioning addict. Family denied that she used drugs or alcohol and had the toxicology report tested over and over again, leading to the same results. The morning of the accident, she and her kids and nieces left a campground in Parksville, New York. She borrowed her brother's van, and a campground owner as well as her family reported that Diane appeared to be sober when she left. They were headed back home to West Babylon, Long Island. They stopped at a McDonald's for breakfast and cousin playtime. It was reported that Diane did not order food and only ordered orange juice and coffee. It is speculated that the orange juice was used to make a screwdriver, but coming from an alcoholic, I believe it was probably a chaser along with the coffee. They also stopped at a gas station where Diane tried to buy over-the-counter pain relief medicine. However, they did not have the one that she wanted. When they got back onto the freeway, at least half a dozen witnesses called 911 reporting that she was driving crazy, tailgating, flashing headlights, honking, and zigzagging. At 11:37 a.m., she called her brother saying that they were being delayed by traffic. The police report indicates the witnesses seeing Diane at approximately 11:45 a.m. parked on the side of the road, getting out of the car to vomit. At 12:08 p.m., Diane called her sister-in-law Jackie, where Diane appeared fine and coherent, and discussed the details for Emma's upcoming play. At 1 p.m., Diane called her brother, at which point his 9-year-old daughter Emma asks to speak to her mother and says the infamous line, and I quote, "There's something wrong with Aunt Diane." Emma also went on to explain that Aunt Diane was having issues with her vision and speech. Diane told her brother the same. Her brother told her to get off the road, and he rushed to save them. He made multiple calls to her, and she stopped answering the phone. What I find interesting is that her brother and sister-in-law called Diane at 1:20 p.m., 1:24 p.m., 1:28 p.m. with no answer, yet they did not call the police until 1:40 p.m. A passing driver found her cell phone along the highway. At 1:33 p.m., 2 witnesses called 911 reporting a woman driving towards a one-way and do not enter sign ramp. 4 more calls to 911 were made, reporting Diane driving towards ongoing traffic at about 80 miles per hour. At 1:35 p.m., Diane crashed head on into a 2004 Chevy Trailblazer, which consequently crashed into another car, a 2002 Chevy Tracker. There were two brave gentlemen who rushed to their aid and reported seeing a large empty bottle of vodka. The men saw the kids piled on top of each other and noted that there was no pulse. What they didn't see was Diane's 5-year-old son, Brian, underneath the girls, and he was still alive. He was the only one that survived the crash. Sadly, Diane, her daughter, and 3 nieces passed away, along with 3 men in the Trailblazer. The 2 people in the third car endured minor injuries. The toxicology report confirmed an alcohol level of 0.19% and high levels of THC. Diane's husband has publicly stated denial that she was heavily intoxicated at the time of the crash. Like I mentioned before, the gas station clerk and the campground owner also have publicly stated that she wasn't drunk. But science doesn't lie, and she was super drunk and high.